Shut up! Shut up!
Adauра dared a glance at him, and their eyes met fleetingly. In that brief moment, Damier felt something stir, an urge to protect, to comfort. He saw profound sadness and humiliation in her gaze, but also a spark of gratitude for his small gesture. That night, back at the Okikes, Damier found his thoughts returning to Adauра. Over dinner, he gently probed for information. "I saw a woman scolding a girl in the road today. Who are they?" he asked casually. Mrs. Okiki clicked her tongue in dismay. "Ah, that would be Widow Patience and her stepdaughter, Adaura. Poor child." Mr. Okiki shook his head. "Patience has no patience at all," he said wryly. "She's a mean one. Ever since she married Donatus, God rest his soul, she's treated his daughter like a slave. Donatus was a good man," Mrs. Okiki added sadly. "But he became withdrawn after Adaura's mother died. In his loneliness, he made the mistake of marrying that witch. We all pity Adauра, but there's little we can do. Patience keeps her on a tight leash." A tightness formed in Damier's chest. That look in Adaura's eyes haunted him, a mix of despair and resilience. He remembered how, even as she was berated, she had moved with an air of grace. "Adaura," he repeated softly. The name felt important on his tongue. He retired to bed early, but sleep didn't come easily. Instead, he found himself staring at the ceiling, thinking of the parallel between them. Both trapped in prisons of pain, albeit of very different kinds. He had fled to find solace, and unexpectedly stumbled upon someone who embodied the very qualities he was looking for: kindness, humility, authenticity, in the face of hardship. "I came here to heal myself," he mused. "But maybe I'm also here to help heal someone else." The thought was both daunting and strangely motivating. In the days that followed, Damier crossed paths with Adaura whenever possible, driven by a growing concern and curiosity. He learned her routine and would often time his errands to coincide with her trips to the market or well. At first, he kept a respectful distance, simply offering a friendly nod or a soft, "Hello." Adaura would nod back shyly, clearly not used to kindness, especially from a man she didn't know. But gradually, the nods became brief moments of small talk. Damier would comment on the weather or the freshness of the produce at market, and Adaura would respond politely but cautiously. One afternoon, fate gave Damier an opening. Adaura was struggling with a heavy sack of cassava at the market stall, and he quickly stepped in. "Let me help you with that," he offered, lifting the load before she could protest. Adaura looked anxious. "Oh no, you don't have to." "I can manage," she stammered, even though relief was evident on her face. "It's all right, I don't mind," Damier said kindly. He walked with her through the market, carrying the cassava. As they went, they talked, truly talked, for the first time. It started simple. He introduced himself as David, a visiting friend of the Okikes. She introduced herself as well, though of course he already knew her name. She would walk past with a calabash on her head or a small basket in hand, always barefoot, always in a hurry. But Damier noticed everything. How she greeted everyone with respect, bowing slightly even to little children. How she laughed out loud, not the shy, calculated giggle of city girls, but the full, belly-shaking kind that made him grin. One day her stepmother had gone to the market alone, and Adaura saw her chance. She rushed through her chores like the wind, sweeping, fetching water, washing dishes. When the last plate was rinsed, she ran to the corner of the room and carefully unwrapped something from beneath a wrapper, Amaka's bright yellow dress. It fit her perfectly. She tied her scarf neatly, checked herself in the cracked mirror, and slipped out. She arrived at Mr. Okike's compound, her heart thudding in her chest. Mrs. Okeki was sweeping the porch. "Good morning, Ma." Adaora?" The woman looked up in surprise. "What brings you here, looking like the sun herself?" Adaora smiled. "Please let me sweep for you. You always work too hard." Mrs. Okeki tried to protest, but Adaora had already collected the broom. Inside, Damier froze at the doorway. His eyes widened as he saw her. She was breathtaking. The same yellow dress he once saw on Amaka now held new life on Adaora's soft, graceful curves. Her beautiful brown eyes sparkled as she swept, unaware that she had just made a home inside Damier's heart. They spent hours talking sometimes, about nothing, about everything. Adaora would laugh, full and loud, her voice rising above the swaying trees. And Damier would smile without even realizing it, because he loved the way her eyes lit up when she laughed, how her hands moved with each sentence she spoke. Sometimes they sat by the edge of the yam fields, sharing roasted corn or ground nuts she had packed from home. And other times they just walked in silence, comfortable, unhurried. That night, he couldn't stop thinking of her. He smiled to himself like a child who had just discovered a secret. He thought about Amaka and her radiant beauty, but with a bit rude attitude. Adaora very beautiful, smart, and very humble. Yet this is not the only quality Damier are looking for. His greatest fear in life is what happened to his father, not to happen to him. His mother left him with the father after he lost his job when Damier was just 8 years old. The father always encouraged him to be very mindful who he takes in as a wife. He came to conclusion on what to do. The next day, Michael arrived in a dusty black SUV, exactly as he and Damier had planned. The mission was simple: test the girls. Michael slowed near the compound where Amaka walked by. He rolled down the window halfway. "Hey, fine girl, come here," he said with a cocky smirk. Amaka instantly turned. "Who, me?" "Yes, Yuna," he said, revving the engine lightly. Amaka stood, flipped her afro, and adjusted her dress. She strutted to the window, giggling. "You must be from the city," she said, twirling for him. "I love your car." The market in the next village was louder, richer, and far more colorful than the simple stalls of Amazi. It was here that Michael decided to test Amaka further, after she had already fallen for the image he created. A flashy Lagos man with charm, money, and a powerful engine under his SUV hood. He didn't have to try hard. Amaka stepped out of the car that afternoon like it was a red carpet event. Her yellow Ankara gown hugged her figure tightly, her afro bouncing as she walked beside him, swinging her arms dramatically with every step. "This is the kind of life I've been praying for," she said, grinning widely as Michael handed her a new handbag from a shop near the corner. "I told you, anything you want, I've got you," he replied coolly. They walked from one shop to another. Bracelets, earrings, lip glosses, flat shoes, lace wrappers, new wigs. Amaka said yes to everything, and every time she saw a reflection of herself in a mirror or window, she paused to admire her own beauty. "I fit Mary today," she giggled, adjusting her earrings. "Just look at me." Michael smiled but said little. On the way back, she leaned across the car, her voice playful. "You know, anytime you're in the village, I don't mind coming over. I can help you clean, or just stay the night," she offered with a wink. Michael raised a brow. "So, are you seeing someone?" "I don't want drama." Amaka snorted and waved it off. "Me? I'm single, oh." Michael nodded slowly. "Good, because I don't share." She laughed. "You won't have to. I'm yours." "My girlfriend, then?" he asked with a smirk. She grinned and touched his arm. "From today." And just like that, Amaka, bold, loud and proud, walked straight into the trap she thought was a fairy tale. Later, he found StepDaughter walking near the street, a basket of vegetables on her head. He rolled the window halfway down again. "Hey, you. Come here." She didn't stop walking. He honked lightly and drove ahead, parking by the side. He stepped out, this time trying charm instead of pride. "I'm Michael. I came from Lagos. I like you." StepDaughter gave a soft smile. "Thank you. Can we be friends?" Michael asked. "No, sorry. Why can't we be friends? Am I not gentle and handsome enough? Or am I not capable of being your friend or husband? Nothing is wrong with you, sir. You are perfect. It's just that I cannot be your friend." "Okay," Michael replied, trying to convince her. "Then be my girlfriend, please. I will take very good care of you. I'm an engineer in the city, and I have my own company. I'm very lovable and kind. Please let me take you away from all this village suffering and stress." "Thank you very much, sir. Your proposal sounds so tempting, but I'm in love with someone already." Michael's smile faded into genuine admiration. He nodded. "That man is lucky, very lucky to have you." She thanked her as both went their separate ways. A few days later, Billionaire decided to propose, to test one last thing. He asked Amaka to take a walk with him. "I've been thinking," he said gently. "What if we made this official?" Amaka laughed so loudly people turned to look. "You?" she scoffed. "You think me, Amaka? I'll marry a poverty-stricken man like you? You think I'm a fool, right? You think I don't see you and my stepsister everywhere in this village? Well, for your information, I know how she wore my clothes to come see you. I know everything. I just didn't say anything because she was helping to distract you from disturbing me and my rich boyfriend." Billionaire smiled in confusion and said, "Oh, I thought you loved me. What kind of nonsense love is that? I'm above your level," she said, laughing out loud. "Go and marry my stepsister so both of you can die in abject poverty." That same day, beneath a mango tree, he found StepDaughter washing bitter leaves. He knelt gently in front of her, surprising her so much that she dropped a leaf. "StepDaughter," he said, voice soft, "would you marry me?" Her hands flew to her mouth. "Me?" He nodded. Tears filled her eyes, but a smile lit up her face. Yes, I will." Tears filled StepDaughter's eyes, but her smile, so full, so honest, lit up her entire face. Her hands trembled slightly as she reached to hold his. "Yes," she whispered, her voice cracking under the weight of emotion. "Yes, I will. I will love to." She paused for a moment, her gaze softening. Her words spilled gently, like water from a full cup. "Honestly, ever since you came into my life, I've experienced things I never even believed existed. Things like peace, laughter that comes from the soul. Moments where my heart forgets how much it has suffered. I've tasted happiness, and I never thought it would ever be mine." Billionaire's throat tightened. StepDaughter continued, lowering her eyes for a moment. "But I don't know if my stepmother will let me go." Her smile remained, but it flickered with a shadow of sadness. "She sees me as her burden. I've been more like a servant than a daughter in that house. But even though I dream of building a life with you, I'm scared she'll try to stop it." Billionaire gently reached for her hand, squeezing it with quiet assurance. "If she stands in the way," he said softly, "then I will stand in front of you." Amaka paces, phone to her ear, fanning herself dramatically. "Vivian, my sister, you won't believe it. That poverty boy, David, he proposed, oh." Right there, people were around watching, proposing to me. Viviana, on phone, bursts into laughter. "What? I hope you didn't agree, Amaka." Amaka horrifiedly answered, "God forbid. Who wants to settle for less? What will I tell Michael when he returns? Hen? She pauses, frown deepening. Speaking of Michael, his number hasn't gone through since morning, Viviana reassuring said to her. Don't worry, he'll call. You know he's a busy businessman, or maybe network. Amaka exhales, still unsettled. When Mr. Okiki came with a bottle of palm wine and the formal request, Madam Patience protested. No, over my dead body will she marry before Amaka and Vivian. But Adaura's uncles agreed. She's of age, she's obedient, and we've accepted. A bride price list was handed over. That night, Madam Patience was boiling with rage. She sat on the bench, Amaka beside her, phone on speaker. Vivian's voice rang out. Don't worry, Mama. Let them marry themselves in poverty. Soon I'll grab my boss. Then you'll have 2 billionaires as sons-in-law. That's right, Amaka added, handing her mother a bundle of cash. My rich boyfriend will come soon. Let's see who'll laugh last. They all burst into laughter. The day of the wedding came quietly. There was no large gathering, no decoration, no loud music, just a few family elders, a clay compound swept clean, and 2 hearts ready to walk away from the pain of the past. Damier had paid everything on the list. Goats, wrappers, drinks, even a small cash gift for the family. It was not flamboyant, but it was full. Paid with respect, paid with love. Vivian didn't come. Maybe it was a blessing. Maybe it was fate. Because if she had, she might have seen her boss standing with the woman he truly loved. But Madame Patience stood there, beside her daughter Amaka, both of them watching with crossed arms and smirks stretched across their faces. As the marriage rites were being done, Adaura stood in silence. She held her wrapper tight in front of her, her head lowered. The village people whispered, children giggled, but her ears were focused on one thing, the cruel laughter of her stepmother and stepsister behind her. She turned and looked at Madam Patience. Her lips trembled. Why? She whispered, her voice too low for the crowd, but loud enough for her tears. What did I do to deserve this? After all, I served them. I washed all your clothes. I cooked every meal. I never talked back. I called you mother even when you never acted like one. Did I ever disobey you? She couldn't continue. Her voice broke. The pain swallowed the rest of her words. Damier stepped forward and pulled her into his arms, gently placing her head on his shoulder. You are my wife now, he whispered, tears sitting in his own eyes. No one will treat you like that again. They'll regret everything they did to you. Behind them, Amaka chuckled loudly as she watched the scene with no emotion. Look at them, she whispered to her mother. Poverty smelling. They even carried sack bag, Patience replied, laughing. 2 poor people marrying each other. Gotta beg. As the ceremony ended, Adaura and Damier stepped out of the family compound. She had just 1 sack bag filled with the only clothes she owned. Damier held one edge, she held the other. They walked together, not just as husband and wife, but as 2 people who had been broken, but found each other. Behind them, laughter followed, but they didn't turn back, not even once. The journey back to the city was long and quiet. Adaura leaned her head against the window of the car, holding Damier's hand tightly. She had never left the village before. The buildings grew taller as they drove, the roads smoother, the people more rushed. Everything looked like a dream. Then the car slowed and turned into a wide, clean street. Before her stood a massive mansion with shiny black gates, a beautiful fountain in front, and flowers arranged like something out of a movie. The air even smelled different, fresh, sweet, and rich. As they pulled up, 2 uniformed security guards opened the gate and saluted sharply. "Welcome, sir," one of them said, standing straight. Adaora's heart skipped. She turned slowly to Damier, blinking. Dear, where are we? Damier smiled. Whose house is this? Where is your house? I thought you said we're going to your house. Damier gently turned to face her. Do you like the house? Adaora's mouth opened. She stepped out slowly, looking at the glass windows, the large pillars, the lights twinkling in the garden. Like? She said in a whisper. Where is this? It looks like heaven, even though I've not been there before. Or, are we dead? Damier, are we in heaven already? Damier burst into laughter, his voice rich and full of love. He walked over to her side, took her hands in his and said softly, No, my love, my angel, we are very much alive, and from today, this big house that looks like heaven is your house. Adaora froze. Wait, you mean, yes. He nodded. You're joking. Please go, Jor. How can this be your house? I thought you said you're a security man. You lied, she said, half laughing, half crying. And then... Damier knelt right there in front of the tall gates, holding both her hands. Please, Adaora. My wife, forgive me. I lied, yes. I only wanted to know who would love me for me, not for money. Come inside, and I will explain everything to you. Adaora stood in silence, still holding her sack bag from the village. When they walked inside together, her legs nearly failed her. The floor was white and shiny like water. The ceiling had lights that looked like stars. There were soft chairs, glass tables, and paintings on every wall. A large dining table already had food waiting. Adaora couldn't speak. She walked around slowly, turning her head every second. Her fingers lightly touched the golden railing of the stairs. Is this where I'm going to sleep? She asked in a whisper. Damier stood at the center of the living room, watching her with a soft smile. Yes, you're not dreaming. Welcome home, my queen. Tears rolled down Adaora's cheeks, from a clay house in the village to a mansion filled with love. And this time, it wasn't a trick. It was real. The morning sun peeked softly through the velvet curtains, casting golden rays across the large white sheets. Adaora turned slowly in the bed, her fingers running across the silky softness beneath her. She was still amazed this was now her life. The door opened gently. Good morning, my queen. It was Damier, carrying a breakfast tray with steaming egg sandwich, buttered bread, and a cup of tea. He walked toward her with a warm smile and placed the tray gently on the side table. Adaora sat up slowly, eyes wide. You made me breakfast? Of course, he said, kissing her forehead. Get used to it. You'll wake up like this every day. She burst into laughter, her head falling softly back on the pillow. I'm never standing up from this bed again, she giggled. It's like I'm sleeping inside soft bread. Damier laughed. This soft bread is now yours, honey. Sleep here morning, afternoon, and night, except when you want to go do your business. Adaora paused and looked at him curiously. Business? He nodded seriously. Yes. You once told me when you have money, you want to go into poultry, right? Her eyes lit up. Yes, my love. I really like it. Chickens, eggs, selling to hotels, supplying eggs to supermarkets. That's my dream. He held her hand tightly. Then I'm going to open the biggest poultry farm in the country for you. Don't worry. Adaora blinked. Wait. What? She looked around the room. Please pinch me. Are you sure I'm not dreaming? Damier laughed again and gently pinched her cheek. No, baby. You're not dreaming. In fact, take a shower. We're going shopping for you. Her smile widened. She wore the elegant blue designer dress he picked out for her, brushed her afro neatly, and followed him downstairs. The driver opened the car door for her like royalty. They laughed and joked the whole ride. When they arrived at Damier's company building, he turned to her with a gentle smile. "Baby, just wait in the car. I need to sign something real quick. I'll be back in a few minutes." She nodded. "All right. I'll just relax here." But a few minutes later, she felt pressed. The tea from breakfast was catching up. "Excuse me," she said to the driver. "Please, where can I ease myself?" The driver smiled. "You can go inside. Ask anyone. They'll direct you." Adaora stepped out and walked carefully into the company reception. She looked around. Tall walls, glass windows, and shining floors. Everything felt too big for her. She turned a corner and saw a woman standing at the hallway entrance with her back facing her, holding a phone to her ear. Adaora gently approached. "Excuse me, please, where's the washroom?" The woman turned around slowly. It was Vivian. Both of them gasped. "Adaora!" Vivian said in shock. "Vivian!" Adaora echoed. Vivian's eyes scanned Adaora from head to toe. "What are you doing here?" Adaora straightened herself. "My husband brought me." Vivian sneered. "Husband? Which stupid husband? Why would he bring you here? Do you want to contaminate this place with your village wrapper and market smell?" Before Adaora could reply, Vivian raised her hand and gave her a hot slap across the face. Adaora staggered back, tears instantly filling her eyes. She clenched her fists, but before she could say anything, a voice echoed from behind them. "Jesus! Vivian!" Damier was standing behind them. His eyes flared. "Did you just slap my wife?" Vivian froze. Wife?" she stammered. "How dare you raise your hand on my wife?" Damier shouted, walking toward them. "What is wrong with you, Vivian?" Vivian stood speechless, her mouth trembling. Adaora stood behind him, still holding her cheek, tears falling. Not just from the pain, but from everything that had come full circle. Vivian stood frozen, her palms still in the air, as Damier's words thundered through the hallway. "Vivian," he said, walking toward her with disbelief and fire in his eyes. "So this is who you truly are. You are this cruel?" She couldn't speak. She simply lowered her hand slowly, realizing what had just happened. "Thank God I didn't fall victim to you and your family," Damier continued. "Thank God. Because today I've seen everything I needed to know." Adaora stood beside him silently, still holding her cheek, her heart aching but also braver now, with her husband standing in front of her like a shield. "How wicked can a person be?" Damier hissed, staring Vivian in the face. "You all turned this girl into a house help in her own father's house. You and your mother. You stole her happiness, but you couldn't steal her destiny." Vivian's lips trembled. "Sir, please, please forgive me." Damier ignored her completely. He turned toward the hallway and raised his voice. "Where is the manager? Come here now." The startled manager came running. "Yes, sir." "Type her sack letter," Damier ordered. "She should not spend another second in my company. Security, escort her out." Vivian immediately fell to her knees, sobbing loudly. "Please, sir, don't do this. I beg you. I don't have anywhere to go. Please, sir, forgive me. I'll never touch her again. Please, sir, I need this job." But Damier did not stop. He turned to his wife and gently held her hand. "Let's go, Adaora. You don't belong in the same space as people like this." Without another word, they walked away, leaving Vivian on her knees in the hallway, tears flooding her face. The security guards arrived and gently led her out of the company gates. That weekend, Damier and Adaora flew out of the country to visit his father. It was her first time boarding a plane. She held Damier's hand tightly through the whole flight, laughing, crying, smiling. She was finally free, finally loved, finally safe. Back in the village, Vivian arrived at night, dragging her small box into her mother's house, weeping. "Mama, they sacked me." Madam Patience stood at the doorway, staring at her daughter. Vivian didn't say a word. She just stood there with her suitcase, eyes red, feet dusty, pride gone. The last time Patience saw her, she was laughing about Adara. Now, she looked like someone the world had beaten and left on the street. "What happened?" Patience finally asked, her voice shaky. Vivian dropped the bag and slowly sank to the bench beside the door. "Mama, I lost everything. He sacked me." "Who?" "Damier," she whispered, her voice cracking. "Mama, that poor man that married Adara. He married Adara." "Vivian, talk now," Amaka snapped. "Which boss? Which husband? What are you saying?" Vivian wiped her nose with her scarf, her voice shaking. "Mama, Amaka, the man Adara married, the one you mocked, he's not just any poor man." She swallowed hard. "He's my boss, the billionaire, Damier." "What?" Madam Patience gasped, struggling to sit up straight. Amaka's jaw dropped. "You mean the same Damier you said you would marry? The one you wanted to trap?" she shouted. Vivian nodded miserably, tears rolling down her cheeks. "Yes, the same man. The security man Adaora married. He's the real owner of everything. I found out the day I slapped her at the company. And he shouted at me, called her my wife, in front of everybody. He sacked me immediately. He threw me out, Amaka." Amaka staggered backward like someone had slapped her. "Chineke, this life is wicked." Madam Patience could only rock herself back and forth, beating her chest slowly. All the times we laughed at her, all the insults, all the suffering we gave her, and now she's the queen. She's the queen. Their cries filled the small compound, but Adara was far away now, living her dream while they sat drowning in their regret. For days, no one swept the compound. There was no water, no food unless someone went to cook, but nobody wanted to. They were used to Adara doing it all. Madam Patience tried to cook one morning but fainted near the fire. She was rushed to the local health center. "This is what I get," she cried in her sickbed. "I turned a sweet, humble girl into my house help. Now see, I have 2 grown daughters and not one of them can cook for me or wash my clothes." She finally understood. "I destroyed my own daughters. I taught them pride, not peace. I taught them greed, not gratitude. I was so busy laughing at Adara, I didn't see that she was the only light in this house." But it was too late, because Adara was now gone, smiling in a mansion, while her enemies sat alone in silence, watching the echo of their own wickedness fill the empty house. Moral lesson of this story: mothers learn to love all children equally. Either the child God gave to you through your womb, or the child God gave to you through someone else. We are all blessings from God, and we are all humans. Train a child the way he or she should grow, and he will not depart from it. Motherhood is not just by giving birth alone.